Let's talk about a culture that has been built, though. A culture that has been established. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you got to lift that so the legends will join us. The men who were tasked with taking the Chargers to the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert, Michigan man, national champion, Jim Harbaugh, and Joe Hortiz of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Let me get one, Coach.
See you guys. Oh, Coach, yes, Coach, I need one.
Up top.
Okay, one, this one, and then two, that one, and then the audio control.
1, 2.
Yeah, one or two. It should be able to get over to you.
She ain't that there.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, works perfect.
Can you hear us?
I can.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're going to have to put the mic.
There it is.
Yep, got me. There we go. Let's go. Look at that.
Hey, it's 2025. NFL General Manager. I got the mic. Okay, we will figure this out. We're talking about. So, Coach, as you guys know, and Joe, as you guys know, this is like a spring break almost for the entire NFL. Used to be, at least. Everybody comes here. Everybody meets here. Everybody gathers here. A lot of conversations. A lot of the ex-players that I know have been talking about potential culture issues in places, whether it's work ethic or. You okay?
Yeah, I'm great.
He was standing
on my wire.
Okay, so with that being said, good culture there. Didn't even have to say anything. Kind of looked out for each other. But it feels like a lot of guys are talking about right now it might not be as easy to find a guy who loves ball or is as committed to work. Maybe some teams are having that kind of ooze through an entire locker room. And culture is the biggest thing. We got a chance to go into your building. Your culture seems magnificent. When you're at this place, I'll start with you, Joe.
Yeah.
Finding guys that love ball, that fit your culture, is that the most important part of this entire thing?
That's big up there. You know, we just got done draft meetings before we came out here, and that's one of the things we talked about. Coach sat in them, and that's one of the questions we have. How much does a guy love ball, and will he fit into our culture that we've established already? And that's what we're here doing, interviewing guys with.
How do you ask questions? Like, how do you figure out if a guy likes ball or not?
Well, I tell you what, if you sat in the meetings with us, watch Coach work in there, and his energy, when they match his energy, you know they love it.
Coach, let's talk about that. As soon as you got in the NFL, we were excited. We celebrated.
Oh, yeah.
We said, Jim, back in the NFL, this is good news.
Thank you.
We love you. But we also know that as soon as a Harbaugh comes into a team, just like at Michigan, just like at Stanford, just like at San Francisco, just like I assume back at San Diego, everywhere you go, physical team. Yeah, this is what we do. This is how we describe your team.
Oh, yeah, Coach.
Kenny Powers, one of my favorite actors right here. Connor.
Absolutely.
It's an honor.
Hey, but Coach, that's a real deal. That's how we describe your teams. That's how we describe your teams. So, like, when you're at this event, finding those types of guys, he talked about these meetings. Do you know immediately, or how do you know if a guy is a Harbaugh type guy?
Well, I mean, it's not a Harbaugh guy. It's a football guy, you know. I mean, how can you tell? I mean, yeah, you can some, you know, in the interactions. I mean, some guys are you can just tell that they're them. You know, they're not trying to bull crap you, you know, and mainly they just, you know, look at the tape, you know. I mean, what you do speaks so loudly that we don't even have to hear what you say. And the reports that they get from from their coach at the school. I mean, you know, just how do we know? I mean, you talk about our culture. You were there. I mean,
fantastic.
You were there in the weight room.
Your culture is fantastic.
Center of player development. I just look at how guys train. You know, how they work on the field and how they work in the weight room. And you know, we just looked at our report card. You know, our players gave our weight room, our training environment, an A+, A+ grade. So
as they should trying to get into the Silver Bells Club.
Yeah.
There you go.
It is obviously something that is what everybody is trying to do.
That's Ben Herbert. That's all Ben Herbert.
Love Herb.
You love Herb, right?
Love Herb. Yinzer, right? I think he's a Yinzer.
Yeah.
He's a Yinzer. He's from Pittsburgh, I believe.
Yeah, if you don't love Herb, then you don't like to train. You don't like to get in there and move weight and
that might be the way to figure it out. Let's bring Herb in here.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation for 2 minutes. What do you think of that guy? I love him. Deal. What do you think of that guy? A little bit too much. Sweet. Let's get you the hell out of here. You know, he was electric whenever we saw him.
I totally wanted to do that too. I mean, I've been saying that. And I said
we talked about it. Yeah.
Hey, let's bring Herb here to the interviews. Let's get a guy in front of Herb for 15 minutes. I mean, we're gonna know, but
you legitimately, I think you would, because it's
Herb,
like,
and Herb preferred to stay back and train guys in
of
Los
course.
Angeles.
Yep,
I mean,
that's how he's built.
Conflict of interest.
Absolutely. Okay, last question from me, and then the boys will have some. And we appreciate you guys taking time. Legitimately, I know you're very busy. Welcome to Indianapolis. Welcome back to Indianapolis, obviously.
Ring of honor.
Yeah, you're in the Ring of Honor here, Coach. Let's go.
appreciate
Let's
it.
go, Coach. I think it's over here to the left. I have a.
It's near Colts Nation.
I think it's over here. I think.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there.
You got it, yeah.
Up top center.
Boom. Ted Marchabrota. Right before Colts Nation, Jim Harbaugh. Now, you didn't spend a lot of time here, but you are beloved here. Okay?
Well,
yeah, you just need to know
As
that.
are you.
That I think that is accurate. I brought Royal Rumble here. Got WrestleMania
I get so
coming
many
up.
more high fives now. I mean,
Yes.
just people just randomly on the street. I get a high five. Saw you on the McAfee show. That was so cool.
So that high five plaque that we got you?
It's front and center right there on the desk.
Still going strong.
I give
awesome.
at least one high five a day.
That was the goal. Tim McAfee will be pumped to hear that. Last question for me, though, before the boys have theirs. Coach, you've been there for a year now. Okay. Last year going into the season, you talking about the Chargers was a lot of Justin Herbert is. Yeah, we found the golden goose.
Yeah.
So we got this guy. We're going to protect this guy. Justin Herbert is the guy that you're looking for whenever you're trying to look for a guy. That was the entire messaging. We're going to build around him. 1 year with the Chargers now. Obviously had some success. We thought we were going to go much sooner than I think a lot of people were projecting you guys to get your thing in there. You won a lot earlier. 1 year in now, what did you learn about the team? What did you learn about Herbert? And kind of where are you as the Chargers head coach?
Yeah, all those things. It's super excited about version 2.0 with the team. I mean, we did not achieve the ultimate success. I mean, there's only one team that's happy in the NFL right now, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Regarding Justin, he's everything that we thought he was. All of us. I mean, why we're here? I mean, is to level up our game. Joe's doing it. I'm doing it. Just getting up every single morning. We got to level up for Justin, for Derwin, for Khalil, for Joey, for Rashawn Slater. I mean, incredible group of guys. Didn't get the ultimate success, but there was definitely unmitigated success along the way, and keep building. Build, get better.
I feel like everybody knows what they're going to get in your building at this point. Like we were even talking to like the chefs. I mean, the chefs,
Yeah,
the equipment,
phenomenal.
The whole building, Joe, is magnetic.
All going in the right direction. Everyone's moving together.
From the RV till now, feels like you guys are already rolling. The boys, you mentioned a name in there. I assume that Connor's going to ask about.
Well, Joe, I was actually curious about the salary cap. Right now, the huge conversation, of course, is with the Bengals, how they have so many great players.
Right.
And it's hard to retain all those guys. And for you guys as well, you have so much young talent on there. Rashawn Slater,
Sure.
Joe Alt, Lad McConkey now is a guy, and they're still a few years out. But how do you kind of project when to pay people? Like, how do you know when's the right time? How much? Do you try and always go to the top of the market for some guys if they deserve it? Or how do you know when the timing is right? Because obviously some teams get into cap hell. And we don't really believe in the cap space.
Salary cap gymnastics.
Yeah, we think
Yeah.
you can do anything you want to pay people. The Eagles are one of those teams. They just did it, and they won the Super Bowl. So how do you
Sure.
kind of project those things?
Yeah, you look forward. Certainly, when you have young players, you can't sign any of them until after 3 years. In the league, unless they're undrafted free agent. But you forecast it. You want to get ahead of it, but there's a fine line. There's a delicate balance when to strike, when to do things. Obviously, we got there this year, both new to the organization, so we wanted to get there and feel out the team and get to know the guys, and now we're moving forward and starting to address those issues and those contracts, and that's what we're working for this offseason. We'll work towards during the season and try to stack them and keep as many good players as we can.
And the guys who play 17 games, who play all the games. I mean, that's the ones we want to pay. The guys that their availability is their best ability. Guys that are playing 18 games, out there, fighting, giving everything they can for their teammates. That's competitors welcome at
Yes.
the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
I think
no
that's a
better place
sign.
to compete than on game day.
I think that's a sign right in the building. Competitors welcome, or you said it in here. And I remember going into the last week of the season. It was already locked in, your seating and everything like that. Everything was already figured out. And there was a lot of conversation around the league about who's playing, who's not playing, who's going to try to play, who's not going to try to play. And there's a lot of, conjecture every single year about, well, you get cold, you get rust. Is it rest or is it rust?
Rest or rust.
Yeah, and then we talked to you, and I asked you, I'm like, so what are you going to do? This was in the cafeteria. And you said, I think we're about 1 week out from our toughness level, our peak toughness that we need to be going into the playoffs. I think 4 more quarters will harden us to where we need to be at the toughness level. So yeah, we're playing. Yeah, that's kind of my idea, my thought. It sounds like you truly believe that toughness, number one thing for a football team. You think what is obviously talent you have to have, but toughness is the number one trait that your team needs to have.
It'd be right there tied with talent and effort. Those would be the top 3.
Talent, effort, and toughness. And whatever you
by your talent and effort, you will be known as a football player.
You know a guy that's known? Khalil Mack. Yes. What are you going to do?
Come on, Joe. Let's go.
Khalil knows how I feel about him, and we'd love to have him back, and we're going to work towards that. We had good conversations right after the season.
Pay the man, Joe. Pay the man. Let's get it back.
He's a Silver Bells king, right?
That is amazing. So, but back to his question about paying people.
Yes.
When you pay people,
yes,
and we're talking about the salary cap gymnastics and it being fake and people doing that, you kick the can down the road. Inevitably, it comes.
It does.
When
pay the piper.
You got to hit on draft picks, right?
Yep.
And that kind of the supplement, that is like a huge part of roster construction.
Absolutely.
Is whenever you pay guys at the top end, you're going to need your cheap young guys that you draft that are on limited contracts for at least 3 years, undrafted guys, whatever. They need to perform at a high level. When you're at a combine, how many people are you, like a draft? I don't know how many picks you has. I should have had done the research, whatever it is. How many people are you trying to get out of each draft? Like, what is a proper projection of like teams hitting in a draft?
Yeah, I mean, we try to hit on every one.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the goal. If that's not your goal, you're approaching it the wrong way. So we're going to try to nail every pick. That's why we pour so many resources into it. We have the coaches here. We have all the scouts here. We're at pro days. And ultimately, will you hit on everyone? Probably not. But that's our goal. That's our mindset
like
going
that.
into
Probably not. Stats say yes.
Yeah.
There's going to be guys that don't make it in the NFL that get drafted. I love that your mindset is like, yeah, maybe. I mean, that's not our decisions.
Never know.
I can't wait to watch what you guys get out of here, especially with talent, effort, toughness.
T-E-T.
Oi. 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 Yeah, it's T-E-T. Oi. 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 Ty has a question for you.
Speaking of all that and being here, how important is it actually being here in Indy and seeing these guys face to face? Because I think the last several years, as the combine's gotten a much bigger deal, like we'll see teams will be here Monday through Wednesday. They do the medicals and then they head out. Like they're not even here for the player interviews. They look at all the tape and all that kind of stuff. But for you guys, how important is it to actually be boots on the ground here and get in front of these guys face to face? Because it happens a lot. Someone will get drafted and then a year or 2 years down the road, something pops up and it's like, well, how didn't this come up in the draft process? How didn't the GM or the head coach see? So how important is it actually being here and kind of getting the most out of the combine?
Yeah, just with the interviews itself, it could be our only exposure to the player, and chance to sit in the room with them for 18 minutes, get a feel for them. And it may be for this year's draft. It could be for 4 years down the road, when they become free agents. We're making connections in there and trying to get a feel for the players in that room. And it's a great opportunity for us and the coaches. It's certainly the coaches' first exposure to them. And then just seeing them out here on the field, just watching them compete on a level playing field, going against each other, performing in front of us. It's a great opportunity to let the cream rise to the top.
And what are you doing? You're just being awesome the entire time? Whenever you're out here.
It's spring. If you like football, where would you pick a better spring break destination?
Indianapolis
For the combine.
Yeah.